When Lewis Hamilton spoke, the entire Formula One world stopped to listen. His words weren't emotional outbursts or random thoughts. They were precise, timed, and loaded with intent. And when his comments about Fred Vasseur hit the Italian press, it felt like a thunderclap over Maranello. Ferrari, already walking a tightrope between pressure and chaos, suddenly had a new center of gravity, and it came from the calm voice of a seven-time world champion. Inside Ferrari, that single interview changed the tone of conversations that had been growing dangerously tense. For months, the team had been divided, engineers clashing over the SF-25's direction, management split over leadership, and whispers spreading that Vasseur's time might be running out. Then Hamilton spoke, and for the first time in weeks, Ferrari's walls stopped shaking. He didn't just defend Vasseur, he reframed the entire story. Hamilton reminded everyone that Vasseur hadn't changed since their GP2 days. Calm, methodical, patient, and obsessed with progress. In F1 terms, that wasn't flattery. It was a warning. Stop tearing down the structure before it's even built. The message worked. Reporters from the Italian media started talking about a noticeable shift inside Ferrari's simulator rooms. Engineers who had doubted Vasseur's slow, analytical approach began echoing Hamilton's language. Unity, patience, process. And if you've followed Ferrari long enough, you know that's rare. This team has always moved faster in politics than in performance, and for once, a driver was trying to slow that down. It's not the first time Hamilton has seen chaos ruin a good car. He lived through it at McLaren in 2012, when internal egos blew apart a title-capable machine. He lived through it again at Mercedes, when the tension with Rosberg nearly broke a dynasty. And now, at Ferrari, he's watching the same story begin to repeat. But this time, he's intervening. By standing next to Vasseur, Hamilton isn't just defending a friend. He's defending an idea, that patience builds power. And if there's one thing Hamilton understands better than anyone, it's that control over the narrative often leads to control over the garage. But here's the big question. Can one driver's words really stop a political storm inside Ferrari? You know how it goes. One week they're united. The next week there's a rumor about another leadership reset. And yet, this time feels different. Maybe it's because Hamilton's reputation carries more weight than any boardroom statement. Maybe it's because the team is exhausted from constant change. Or maybe it's because deep down, even Ferrari knows that it can't afford to start over again. Hamilton's move wasn't about headlines. It was about stability, and that's a rare thing in Maranello. Tell me this, do you think Hamilton's statement actually helped calm Ferrari, or did it just add more pressure to deliver? Vote in the comments, calm or worse. And while you're there, tell me, do you trust Vasseur to fix this project? Yes or no? Say it plainly. If you love inside F1 politics like this, subscribe to Fast News F1 and turn on the notification bell. Your subscription is incredibly important to us. Help us reach our next goal of 2,000 subscribers so we can keep bringing you more inside stories from the paddock. Because what comes next might just decide Ferrari's entire future. The data doesn't lie. And under the gloss of press releases and calm statements lies a brutal reality written in telemetry. The SF-25 looks competitive on Saturdays, but on Sundays it often falls apart. Over one lap, it's lightning quick. Hamilton's pole in Shanghai was only 0.032 seconds off the best sector combination. But once the lights go out and the race drags on, that balance vanishes. What should be a graceful dance on track becomes a slow, painful slide. The reason? Ferrari's long-standing Achilles heel, tire degradation. Internal numbers leaking out indicate Ferrari's average tire degradation rate on the medium compound sits near 1.7 seconds per lap after lap 25. McLaren loses barely half that. That difference doesn't just ruin strategy, it ruins confidence. You can see it in Hamilton's throttle traces from Hungary, where mid-corner instability forced him to feather the pedal nearly 12% longer than the model predicted. That tiny hesitation costs roughly 0.3 per lap. But worse, it overheats the rear tires and creates a thermal imbalance of up to 8 degrees C. Once that happens, grip loss becomes irreversible. The car turns from predictable to a handful, and lap times collapse. Ferrari's new floor concept, introduced in Austria, was meant to redistribute low-pressure airflow through the outer diffuser channels and stabilize the rear, but instead it made the SF25 hypersensitive to track temperature, wind direction, and fuel load. That inconsistency drives engineers crazy because you can't find a stable baseline setup when aero balance keeps shifting mid-stint. Inside the garage, telemetry has become ammunition for internal critics. Some argue Vasseur's slow, data-driven method is wasting time. Others insist it's the only way to rebuild sustainably. It's a battle of philosophies, reaction versus resilience. And Hamilton has made his side clear. Patience. He's seen the cost of panic. But can patience survive in Formula One, a sport where milliseconds matter and fans demand miracles overnight? That's the tension inside. Maranello. Data telling them to wait, emotion pushing to act immediately. Which side would you pick if you were in charge? Team quick fix or team long rebuild? Drop your choice in the comments and explain why. If you're enjoying this deep technical breakdown, hit the like button. It helps push this video to more F1 fans, and don't forget to subscribe to Fast News F1 and enable notifications. Hitting that 2,000 subscriber milestone keeps this kind of analysis coming, because the numbers are, only half the story. The real drama is what those numbers do to power structures inside Ferrari's boardrooms. Behind the polished press releases and calm public statements, a silent war has been raging. What started as a technical disagreement about the SF25's concept escalated into a political standoff. On one side, Fred Vasseur pushes for calm, long-term planning and evidence-based decisions. On the other, influential figures in the corporate hierarchy demand immediate results, pointing to investments, reputation, and shareholder pressure. Caught in the middle is Lewis Hamilton. After the Hungarian Grand Prix, insiders say Hamilton requested a private meeting with John Elkann to discuss project priorities. In plain terms, he asked for guarantees that Ferrari would stick to a clear direction instead of changing every time pressure rose. Coming from Mercedes, where discipline and structure were sacred, Hamilton sees chaos as the enemy. Reports suggest he used his influence to secure more authority in development discussions. The new simulator program slated for 2026 car development was reportedly adjusted after his feedback, and he pushed for correlation models mirroring Mercedes's data structures. Subtle moves, but powerful, showing he's shaping Ferrari from the inside. Not everyone is happy. Some engineers worry his voice overshadows their expertise. Others admit his presence is forcing Ferrari to grow up, to become more like the winning machine he helped build at. Mercedes. One anonymous engineer put it bluntly, "It's like having a mirror in the room. You see what a real champion expects, and suddenly you realize how far behind we've been." So, do you think Hamilton should have that much influence inside Ferrari? Or should the engineers hold the reins? Tell me in the comments. I want to know where you stand. And if you're enjoying these inside stories, hit subscribe and enable notifications. Your support helps Fast News F1 keep bringing you the behind-the-scenes content most fans never hear. As tensions in the garage rose, a leak before Monza changed the narrative. A sensitive internal report allegedly surfaced from within Ferrari's technical group, outlining conflicts between leadership and Hamilton's camp, and all of a sudden the paddock was buzzing. The timing was brutal, right before Ferrari's home race, and what should have been a celebration turned into a stress test. Hamilton handled it with public calm, smiling through interviews, praising fans, deflecting pointed questions. Privately, though, he demanded professionalism and discretion. According to Italian reports, he told staff in a closed-door meeting, "I came here to build something lasting, not to play politics." Fred Vasseur then stood at his toughest moment as team principal, holding the line between protecting Hamilton and keeping the staff united, calling one-on-one meetings and insisting that leaks equate to betrayal. That stance marked a tonal shift. Protect what's inside these walls, because leaks destroy momentum. Yet as the drama intensified, the atmosphere inside the garage slowly changed. Engineers who once doubted Hamilton's approach began seeing correlation gains. His detailed feedback improved Ferrari's wind tunnel-to-track correlation by nearly 12%, meaning new components behaved more predictably. That's tangible progress, and it helped the team rally around him, even if scars from the conflict remain. Outside Maranello, rival teams watched closely. Mercedes kept lines open, and whispers circulated that Hamilton's patience might have limits. Now ask yourself, did Hamilton do right by staying calm publicly and handling things internally, or should he have spoken out to force faster structural change? Drop your take in the comments. I'll be reading them. If you're still with me, don't forget to subscribe to Fast News F1 and turn on the bell. Helping the channel hit 2,000 subscribers enables more coverage like this. Then came Monza. Supposed to be a fresh start, a moment of unity and pride, but instead, it became a defining chapter in Ferrari's season. The Tifosi were louder than ever. Hamilton started on the front row, and hope filled the grandstands. But as the race unfolded, the SF25's weaknesses reappeared. Hamilton fought, but as the tires faded, his podium chances slipped away, and he finished fifth. The crowd still cheered, but in the paddock, everyone knew the problem hadn't been solved. That night, a private meeting took place. Fred Vasseur, John Elkann, and Lewis Hamilton held what insiders now call the reset conversation. It wasn't about blame, it was about direction. Hamilton reportedly said, "We can't keep chasing problems. We have to build from a foundation." Ferrari agreed to give him fuller support in shaping that foundation. Immediately, Hamilton would be involved in early design work and simulator sessions for the 2026 car concept. And it gets more interesting. Sources close to the FIA say Ferrari has quietly been testing aerodynamic concepts aligning with Hamilton's driving style. Higher rear stability, softer front suspension response, and a new steering feedback algorithm. That suggests Ferrari is finally listening to its driver, not just its traditions. What Hamilton's doing isn't only about lap time, it's about transforming the team's DNA, turning Ferrari from an emotional powerhouse into a disciplined, data-driven outfit. If anyone can do that, it might be him, the same man who helped build Mercedes' dominance from scratch. Still, the risk is obvious. The 2026 regulation reset is approaching, and the window to rebuild is shrinking. If Ferrari gets the winter wrong, it could set them back years. If they get it right, with Hamilton's experience and leadership, it could spark one of the great comebacks in F1 history. So tell me, do you believe Hamilton can change Ferrari's fate? Or is the red curse too strong? Vote in the poll and share your reasoning in the comments. Redemption or regret? And before you go, make sure to subscribe to Fast News F1 and enable notifications so you never miss the next deep dive. Your support means everything and pushes us toward that 2,000 subscriber milestone that helps us keep these investigations going.